As a blind dad, there are not very many games I can play at the computer with my sighted child, but this is one of them. It's one we both quite enjoy, in the vein of a bit of a brain puzzle. It's called Preludeamals, and the objective here is to squish the rats. You are in charge of a robotic arm on a fixed track, and each room you are presented with has a number of rats that you have to squish. And in later rooms, mice that you have to avoid squishing as well. Now, this game it's written by a sighted computer programmer, so it does have some graphics. They're not cutting-edge graphics or anything. They're not very exciting by all accounts, but there's enough there that you as a blind person and your children, child or friend or whatever as a sighted person can work together to solve the puzzles. If you Google Preludeamals audio game, Preludeamals, you'll come across the result. It's written by a guy called Aprone, or his real name is Jeremy Kaldobsky, and so the website is kaldobsky.com. You will find it, and you can download and put it on your computer. It's only available for Windows computers at the moment. I don't think there is any way of playing it on a mobile device or a Mac or anything, but it's a very simple concept, but it's very addictive. So let's load it up and see what happens here, shall we?
Taskbar.
Here it comes.
Welcome to Preludeamals, version 0.7b, by Aprone.
I've slowed down my
main menu
so you can understand it, obviously. Let's get the first level up here. So campaign.
Choose your level.
And choose level.
Level 1, Introduction. This tiny little room is meant to get you started.
So this will explain.
An angled track in the corner will redirect the arm straight into the rat.
How the game works. I'm going to press enter on that.
Level 1 Introduction. This tiny little room is meant to get you started. An angled track in the corner will redirect the arm straight into the rat. Music volume.
Turn that down. And that means we can actually hear ourselves think. So, you have an arm, and before you start playing any level, the letters Z, X, C, V are helpful. So if I press Z...
This level begins with 5 energy in the arm's batteries. After 5 redirects from a wall or track, the arm will stop and the level will end in failure.
So we have 5 things we can hit before the arm will fail. If I'm going to press X next...
The arm starts at C1, facing south. Arm begins with a saw attachment.
Okay, so the saw is what we need to get rid of the rats. As we get later on in the levels, we'll find use for other attachments, but the saw is what we need right now.
This room has 1 rat at A3.
A3 is the coordinates of the rat, and I guess there are no mice yet.
There are no mice in this room.
As we get higher up, we'll have to worry about mice. So the coordinates we need to worry about are...
The arm starts at C1.
C1, the arm is facing south, and we have to get...
This room has 1 rat at A3.
A3. So it's a grid. And if we arrow with our cursor keys, we will be able to see that from A3,
C1, starting position, facing south.
We go down.
C2, empty tile.
Down again.
C3, empty tile.
We can't go down anymore. We've hit the south border of the map, but we can go left.
B3, empty tile. A3, rat that must be killed.
So we've just described the arc our arm needs to take. It starts off facing south already, so we need to go down.
C2, C3,
when we
empty
hit this
tile.
Tile here, this empty tile, we want the arm to change direction, to veer off to the left.
B3, A3, rat that must be killed.
So the place where we want the arm to turn is
C3
here. So we need to change this type of tile. We can change empty tiles by pressing enter on them.
Change piece.
And
empty tile.
That's what we've got at the moment. I'm just arrowing down here.
Track blocker. When approached from any direction, this blocker will send the arm back in the direction it came.
We don't want that, do we?
Southwest turn. When approached from the south or west, this curved track sends the arm in the other direction.
Okay, so...
When approached from any other direction, this track blocks the arm and sends it back the way it came.
We're coming...
Press enter to place or press shift plus enter to place starting in a lowered position.
If the arm were coming from the south, this would send it west. But our arm is coming... It's travelling south, so it's coming from the north. So we want a northwest turn.
Northwest turn.
There we go.
Northwest turn placed.
And we can now set the arm moving by pressing space. So when we've set our track up the way we like it, we can start the arm going, and I'm hopeful that we've solved the puzzle.
Arm begins at C1 and begins traveling south.
The arm is going to go down.
Angle track at C3 sends arm heading west. Rat at A3 has been shredded by the saw blades.
Sequence completed.
Thank you.
Victory. The game story follows 3 seeming...
Okay, there's a story here, but with each level you complete, you get a bit of a story. But we don't need to read that if we don't want to, so I'm just going to press enter to move on.
Level 2 Zig and Zag. Same idea as last time, but a pesky track block gets in the way. You may need a few tracks to get the arm to that rat.
Okay, so let's see where we are this time. I'm going to press X.
The arm starts at A1, facing east.
So the arm starts in the
Arm
top
begins
left
with a saw
corner
attachment.
of the map, and
This room has 1 rat at C4.
it has to get to C4. So from A1 to C4, and you can start to see already. I'm hoping the mathematical nature and the critical thinking skills. If you have graph paper or any sort of surface on which you can map these boards out, these maps out on a physical surface. I use graph paper, not for my daughter, but for me, because she can see the connections a lot better than I can. I like to have a physical map. I also have a cube rhythm board, which is really good for using for mapping out these twists and turns. The problem you will encounter as you get further on the levels is that pieces on the track can be lowered and raised, that's not the right word, and there is a type of track piece that you can move the arm over called a switch, which can make other pieces go up and down, and so you can effectively nullify parts of the track or block them off at certain times after you've done certain things. It all gets very convoluted, and by the time you get to more higher levels, I've been scratching my head for hours over some of these. So let's have a look at this one. So we have to get from A1 to C4.
The A1, starting position, facing east.
So if we don't do anything, we're just facing east.
D1, empty tile. C1, lock track blocker.
Okay.
When approached from any direction, this blocker will send the arm back in the direction it came.
So this is locked, which means we can't change it. I press an enter on this part of the board, does nothing. So we have to do something here
D1.
to change direction. And we want to get to C4, don't we? So C4 is down from 1. So let's start by putting a turn in here. So the arm is approaching from the west, and we're going to make it turn south.
Change piece. And track southwest turn. Southwest turn placed.
So if we are now traveling south.
B2, empty tile.
We go down.
B3, empty tile. B4, empty tile.
And we know we want to get to C4.
C4,
And there's the
rat
rat.
that must be
So let's put another piece here. It's traveling from the north, and it wants to turn east.
change piece. Northwest, northeast turn. Northeast turn placed.
Let's see if we've done it, shall we?
Arm begins at A1 and begins traveling east. Angle track at B1 sends arm heading south. Angle track at B4 sends arm heading east.
Goodbye, rat.
Rat at C4 has been shredded by the saw blades.
Sequence completed.
Yay! Well done us. Let's do one more.
Level 3 if only. If only that second rat was 1 spot over. Because of their placement in the room, you're going to have to think about track placement.
I certainly am. So we've got 2 rats now, which of course, if you can see, you can immediately see.
This room has 2 rats at B4 and D4.
B4 and D4. And the rat doesn't start anywhere, the arm starts.
This level begins with 5. The arm starts at
There we
A1,
go.
facing east.
So we
Arm
are-
begins with a saw attachment.
up
A1,
here.
starting position, facing
And
east.
the aim is to get all the way
A4, B4, rat that must be
to
killed.
that one.
C4, D4, rat that
and
must
that
be
one. So
killed.
we have to get both rats. Well, there's no mice, are there?
There are no mice in this room.
Thank you. That's good to know. So we're not in danger of squishing any mice. If you squish a mouse with your saw, you lose. So brain workout, definitely. Let us think about this. So the arm is travelling east, which is lovely. Ideally, it could do with travelling east, but down the bottom rather than along the top, couldn't it? If it travels east from
A4,
here,
B4,
it will go
rat
that way and keep going and go
D4.
that way. So that's what we want to achieve. So let's make the arm do a bit of a 3-point turn. So
A1, starting D1, empty tile.
I'm going to make it turn to the south.
Change
It's travelling eastward.
southwest, north, southeast turn.
Is it travelling eastward? Yes, it's facing east. So it arrives from the west.
Southwest turn. Southwest turn placed.
It's going to go down there.
B2. Empty tile.
And I'm going to make it turn left. So it's going to. I want a north.
B1. C1.
Right?
Empty tile. B1. Southwest turn.
It's traveling east, so it's from the west. Yes, that's
B2.
right. I think that's right. We'll see in a minute.
Change.
This one I want to be a northwest.
South. Northwest turn placed.
And then so it's going to go left.
A2. Empty tile.
And when it goes from the east, I want it to go south.
Track southwest, southeast turn placed. A3, A4.
Down here,
empty tile.
I want it to go east.
Change track southwest turn. Northeast, southeast turn.
When I approach from the north.
Northwest, south, northeast, turn.
Have I done that right? I think I've done it right. This is again, as a blind person, having the physical map under my fingers would help. And you don't need to do it with anything fancy. I mean, I like my cube rhythm board and I like my graph paper, but I mean, you could do it just on a flat surface with some pieces of card and some arrows. You know, you can be creative, cut out a few arrows. Anything like that will do. You can be abstract and just use objects to represent the turns, but there's lots of scope. But getting a physical overview of the map is very helpful. It teaches such good spatial skills. Let's see what's happened here if I've done it right.
Arm begins at A1 and begins traveling east.
I want it to go down.
Angle track at B1 sends arm heading south. Angle track at B2 sends arm heading west. Angle track at A2 sends arm heading south. Angle track at A4 sends arm heading east. Rad at B4 has been shredded by the saw blades. Rad at D4 has been shredded by the saw blades.
Fantastic.
Sequence completed.
So, they get more complicated, as you will see, because the next one...
This room has 3 rats at A. This room has 1 mouse.
So this next level's got rats and mice, and it's more complicated still. So hopefully you can see and appreciate the way in which, as a blind or sighted person, you could play this game. I can't see the graphics on my own screen, but I know they're there. And it's a really good brain puzzle. It keeps your mind working, and that's very important in these times, isn't it? So hopefully you found this interesting, and we'll have a go. Preludeamals, Preludeamals, an audio game written by a pro.